Here we are. It is now January 2nd, and I'm here to do my first monthly check-in. I'm a day late already, yes, I know, but it was New Year's Day, and I was hungover and miserable, and yeah, I mean, that's kind of been being miserable's not been a theme through December, but the kind of generally, how do you say, indulgent nature, and I've kind of been a bit lax on my reading. And on that note, I have to report Voyage of the Beagle and the Origin of Species. I have not finished it. It is none books read this month, unfortunately. Well, I've read The Voyage of the Beagle, which was very interesting. There's a lot of concepts and ideas in it that Darwin kind of touches upon before they're fully explored. You've got to remember that this is 1837? So concepts like geologic time, the geologic column haven't been fully explored yet, and continental drift hasn't even been proposed yet. He mentions it later in Origin of Species. I've read about a chapter or so. That was this morning. He mentions later that the kind of idea of common descent was being thrown around at that time. It was thrown around much earlier as well, but it was kind of based upon geological provinces. I can't remember the name of the exact person who proposed it. There's things like the commonality of different patterns of a singular variety of cow's coat changing depending on its environment and habitat, which would be a non-selected pressure or a non-selected trait that's been selected for, not been selected for, but has been present at the same time as these other traits that have been selected for that make living at the higher altitudes more common. And he mentions it a couple of times with different the land shells, he calls them, snails, mollusks, that live on land, of different varieties being different to the ones that are present in fossil form or in different islands and that kind of thing. And again, Voyage of the Beagle is where he goes to the Galapagos, amongst other things. There's the famous plate of the finches with the beaks is in there. And yeah, it's a lot of really interesting seeing these early insights into Darwin's kind of thought progress with it. Yeah, it's also a product of its time, obviously. Darwin's surprisingly, forward. I don't know, it's a weird way of putting it. He's quite, he's oddly reverent to some people while still being racist towards them. But again, it's a product of its time. There was a very different kind of socio-cultural aspect to it. And that definitely needs to be remembered whilst reading through the book. Yeah, I think that concludes my surface level thoughts on Voyage of the Beagle. I'm taking a lot more care with Origin Species. I'm going through with sticky notes and a pencil and that kind of thing. But new books. So I finished half a book, and I got 3 new books this month. First off, we have My Beloved Brontosaurus, which is about the relationship between paleontologists and their specimens. It's not a fucking Chuck Tingle dating book thing, although that would be funny. I'm quite excited to read it because it's a topic that I've thought about a lot in the past, the relationship between this ancient creature, 60, 100, 400 million years old, and someone in the modern day trying to unravel the secrets of its ecology and its life. I think it's quite an intimate bond, and I'm excited to see how that's explored in the book. Books 2 and 3 are books from the Hume list, Give me a sec. Hume? Huh? David Hume? David Hume. Dr. David Hume. We have... also, via Crystal. Love you, Crystal. Yeah. The Red Queen, which is about, sex and the evolution of human nature. And kind of ecology of people. And the kind of, the function of sex within, I would say reproduction, but fucking no shit. Like the role of sex in variation and selection. And secondly, mutants, which sounds rather fun. And it's about mutation and changes and variety within the gene pool. Both of these sound very fun. I think I've noticed that starting with the origin of species was probably both a good and a bad place to start, because it's very dense, definitely in comparison to something like these. It was written like within the last 10 years. The language of the time is very thick and elaborative, and he'll often like restate points in Voyage of the Beagle. And already in the one chapter I've read of Origin of Species, he spends like an entire chapter laying out each point, and there's a line that I've highlighted that's along the lines of, I wish I could explain this further, but it would just be me listing facts. I think Origin of Species and the Voyage of the Beagle is like 900 pages altogether. I dread to think how long that would be. Just 900 pages of Darwin saying minor like variations and speciations. Which would be a good resource, but at the same time, I don't think quite necessary. Like a reference text, perhaps, not a book to read through. Sadly, I also haven't done anything with my textbook. I mean, Darwin's hard enough to read sober and not hungover. I basically, like, from the 21st of December, I was just like, I'm spending time with my family and drinking. And enjoying Christmas, which is not going to fly on an academic level next year. Speaking of next year, though, it's a good time to move on. House progress. So at the beginning of the month, I had a meeting. We met in a Wetherspoons, and we chatted about where we'd want to live and kind of which areas of Birmingham would be good. And we've kind of gone with between where Chrissy and the university is at the moment. I'm also looking into areas south of Birmingham, I've forgotten what they're called. But Selly Oak and the other one, the one that's further south, they're both like 20 minutes on the train to the university. I think about getting a season ticket. But yeah, we know roughly where we're looking. I have been looking. And there's been like no movement with them. There's been like no movement with the market over the last month or so, last couple of weeks. Because Christmas and no one's in the office and doing estate agency things. But I think that's for the best, because I'm like looking into getting a mortgage in principle this month, which is an agreement from a bank to give you a mortgage of a certain sum, right? I think it's gonna be hard to. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. But I'm waiting either this month or next month because I've got overtime, so that'll inflate my paycheck and hopefully get means that I can borrow more at a lower rate because I'll have higher income. It just feels so removed from myself to be doing this kind of level of adulting. I feel very old. I need to get my sleep schedule back in order, but I mean, everyone was saying like, that I'm an old man. I go to bed at 10:30, and you're like, maybe I should go to bed at 9:30. I'm just so much more productive when I wake up early, and staying up late just does not facilitate that. I also think that a big thing with next year is working out how I work again, because at university last time doing psychology, I was quite not ambivalent towards working, but it was definitely a kind of, I wasn't very introspective and thinking about how I learn. I was just trying to kind of take in knowledge as I could, as I've always done. And I think kind of more actively focusing on how I study is going to be very much beneficial to me. I've done a bit of it over the last couple of months with me reading the textbook and the way I take notes and trying different flashcards. I think a big thing is going to be this tablet. It seems like a very powerful tool, and it's going to be working out how that fits into my routine, and I find it very hard to adapt my routine living here, which is one of the reasons why I'm looking forwards to my own place, my own digs. It's going to be a new set of challenges, but I think it will be both an adaptation and kind of a new chance to renew myself, if that makes sense. I don't have much more to talk about for kind of December in review. I think I'm going to spend the next 5 or so minutes being quite sentimental. I would like to extend a thank you again to Louis for hosting New Year's Eve. One of the reasons I wanted to know who was coming so much is because I'd written a bit about everyone. I was going to go, I'm going to do a speech and be very sentimental and soppy and whatever. But I thought it would be really odd with Sarge there to just kind of be talking about our friend group and not Sarge, and yeah, so I didn't do that. But I'm going to do it now because I think it's important to say these things and let people know that I care about them. So yeah, I'm already stalling because this is going to be cringe as fuck. But yeah, I'm going to start with Josh. I think it's not spoken about very often how hard it is to do a degree in this day and age. It's kind of become a bit of a given in society that you do a degree, you get a job, everybody does it. But I think that it's kind of it's still hard work. It's become less apparent how much of an effort and a challenge it is to get through a degree. And I'm incredibly proud of you for doing it and graduating, and I'd like to congratulate you again. And I think that you've gone through hardships that I couldn't have gone through, and I think that's very admirable of you. You've stuck it out. You've shown incredible resilience. And again, I know that it might be kind of thought of that if you don't have a job, you've got fuck all to do, and you just kind of spend all time not doing anything all day. But in reality, it's very soul crushing not to have a job and keep getting rejected. And I also am very proud of you for sticking through with it. I think that you're very resilient and hardworking, and I'm very proud of you. And by extension to Sheikah as well. I think you're both brilliant people, and I'm very glad to have you both in my life. So at this point, I was gonna raise a drink. I'd say a drink for Josh. Be like, how very unfortunate it was whilst I was being emotional that the camera stopped recording. I was gonna be like, to Josh, for your hardiness, determination, and fortitude without letting your heart harden either. Love you, Josh. Next, Louis, again, thank you for hosting New Year's. I think you host a lot better than you think you do. The quiz was, it's thank you. Yeah, thank you. Hosting's difficult, in my opinion. And I don't think that's appreciated enough either. The quiz is excellent. I like the quiz. Okay. But I think this year's been not the easiest for you. I mean, it never seems to be easy for you. I'm I'm deeply regretful of the fact that I can't make it easier. But I think that it's also been quite good for you as well. I mean, I know the band's going through a bit of a rough spot at the moment, but I think it's been very good for you both, like, personally and creatively. I think that you've seen more people and done more things than you have in previous years, and that's it's done wonders for you socially. And I think, again, that working with other people's also given you an amazing chance to be creative. I know that Rob has kind of ruined that one song for you, and I think it was definitely a creative masterpiece in the works. I would definitely like you to encourage you to go back to it, because it had a lot of meaning and soul to you, that I don't think you should let Rob squander. And I mean, if I could remember one thing about you, like, until the day I die, it would be in New Cross, when I went to see you play live. The smile you had was just so infectious and wonderful. I don't think you should let Rob ruin your creativity and your smile and just your joy and passion for music. Yeah, I would like to raise a glass to your growth, your warmth, and your boundless creativity despite the circumstance you've found yourself in. And to Daisy, I think that our friend group, especially given our shared kind of background, and we all come from the same kind of area, can sometimes be quite singular in the way we think. And I definitely think that, I mean, over the past couple of years, not just the last year, you've provided a kind of a new aspect to our friendship group that's been very significant in helping some of us soften up a bit. And I think that you have an amazing fortitude and work ethic. The ability for you, the fact that you come down to work every week shows how wonderfully tenacious you are about getting the bag for pantomime. I think that's wonderful and hilarious. Yeah, I know you don't enjoy playing games, but I think, again, that shows how nice you are, and you care enough to spend time with us despite not enjoying playing. I think that's really nice, and yeah, I drink to Daisy for putting up with the rest of us. This was an awkward one, because not an awkward one. It was one that I feel very strongly about. Is Bruce. I'm very proud of you, Bruce. 2025 was not, going into it, you were not the happiest person in the world. And I think the joy and passion you've found in the last year is amazing. And you've made an incredible recovery. And I'm honestly just very proud and happy for you that you've bounced back so hard. And I found engaging, your love for your subject matter is just so infectious as well. It is wonderful. I've loved engaging with you on both like a personal and an academic level over it. And I definitely enjoyed having someone in our friendship group who's more academically inclined, and we can talk about essay writing and stuff together, because it is going to be a big part of my life, and it has been a big part of my life. And yeah, I'm just incredibly proud of you for the last year. So yeah, I would like to raise a drink to Bruce for his passion, his wonderful, his writing is phenomenal, and his recovery, which is twice as phenomenal. Yeah. There's a couple of people who I've written less about because I didn't think they'd be there. Issa, I think your fortitude is amazing. Your work-life balance is amazing. You are the model of the working man, in my opinion. You find time to be creative and take amazing photographs, and the amount of dedication and just grit and power you put into your degree, even though you're not the most passionate about it, is still... It's I don't understand. It's wonderful. You're the model workman for me. Ethan is the model cool dude. He's just kind of chalky. The like one of the effortlessly coolest people I know, and like the most normal person. Is the one thing that I always raise, and I've told so many people about this whilst getting diagnosed for ADHD, is one time I asked you how you did your French homework so quickly, and you said, I just think that if I solve this problem now, future Chalky doesn't have to deal with it. And it was just such a mind-bending, like, how is that such a simple solution, and it's so normal. I just didn't know how you could do it. I mean, I know now, I have fucking ADHD. It's just, I work differently. It's just hard for me to work like that. But I just couldn't wrap my mind around it. And I think, again, you've been a bit of a role model for me academically with your work ethic. I think it's been amazing. And Theo, we haven't spent that much time together over the last year, but I really feel like when we spend time together in person, we have really grounded, interesting chats. We need more 2 a.m. kebabs. It's just, I feel like we don't spend enough time together. I would really love to spend more time with you, in person preferably. And yeah. And finally, the person who I would like to thank the most for this last year is, of course, Crystal, whose support has just been so overwhelmingly amazing in both getting a diagnosis and applying for university again. I really want to thank her again and again, because she's just such a beautiful person with a beautiful soul, and I'm just so lucky to have her with me. And yeah, I'm really proud of her, and glad she's part of my life. I'm struggling to talk about my feelings now. Yeah, this is what I always write. Also, I would like to mention that I'm very grateful that some of you still keep those cards from like 5 years ago now. I might not say it at the time because, God, I was so cringe. But it really means a lot to you that I've stayed with you, even if it's just tucked away in your wallet. But yeah. Yeah, I think that concludes my my rambling. My goal... Oh, no, I've got a couple more things to talk about, actually. New Year's resolutions, I've got 3. One is to read a chapter of a book a day, which is quite a lot. I'm expecting to not do it. I'm not expecting to do it. But it's a good kind of goal for me. It's definitely helped me stay more focused, having just something to read before I go to bed, when I wake up. And with this huge ass pile of books, it's probably a good thing to be ambitious. Number 2 was, I'm not going to buy any clothes that have less than 50% natural fibers in them. I'm trying to be more ethical about my consumption. Which, I mean, it's kind of the same thing as what I did when I went vegetarian for 3 months. It's like, I'm just trying to be considerate of what I do and my impact I have on people and the planet around me. And my 3rd one I have forgotten. So that's going well. Good success. Yeah. My goals for the next month are to, get the mortgage, or get the mortgage in principle. Do some more kind of fine-tuning on the house. Read 1 chapter a day and read 2 chapters of the textbook a month. And yeah, I don't really have any more notes, so I'm going to sign off here. Thank you very much for watching again, and I'll see you next month.